There is a power inside you, a power you were born with, a power that most people on earth will live their entire lives without ever activating. Not because God did not give it to them, but because they were distracted, numbed, and spiritually asleep. Tonight, I need you to listen carefully, because what you are about to hear may change the way you see your mind, your soul, your instincts, and even the strange feelings you sometimes ignore. Have you ever felt something before it happened? Have you ever walked into a place and instantly felt something was wrong, even though everyone else looked normal? Have you ever met someone who smiled at you, but your spirit whispered, "Be careful"? That voice, that sudden knowing, that inner warning, that deep sensing. Most people call it intuition. Some call it discernment. But what if I told you it is actually a spiritual psychic power placed inside you by God at birth? And tonight, you are going to learn how to activate it again. Before the world filled your mind with noise, before endless scrolling, distractions, addictions, and confusion, your spirit was sensitive. Children naturally sense things adults ignore. They feel energies. They notice truth. They can sense danger. They ask questions adults avoid. Why? Because their spiritual perception is still open. But as people grow older, something happens. The world slowly shuts that sensitivity down. Pain hardens the heart. Sin dulls the spirit. Noise overwhelms the mind. And eventually, the inner voice becomes quiet. But it never disappears. Deep inside you, that God-given awareness is still there, waiting, dormant, like a spiritual antenna that has simply lost its signal.
Section 2. Why most people lost this power. There are 3 major reasons people lost their spiritual sensing ability. 1. Constant distraction. Your mind was not designed to absorb 24 hours of noise. Music, videos, social media, arguments, endless opinions. When your mind is always full, your spirit cannot speak clearly. 2. Hidden sin. Sin does something powerful to human perception. It clouds spiritual clarity. When someone lives in deception, lust, pride, jealousy, or bitterness, their spiritual senses become dull. The inner voice becomes harder to hear. Not because God left them, but because their soul became noisy. 3. Fear of truth. Sometimes people sense something, but they ignore it because the truth would require change, leaving relationships, breaking habits, facing personal darkness. And so they silence their inner voice. Over time, it stops speaking loudly. Section 3. The strange signals you have been ignoring. Let me ask you something deeply personal. Have you ever experienced moments like these? You suddenly think about someone, and moments later they call you. You feel uneasy about going somewhere, and later you discover something bad happened there. You sense someone is lying, even though their words sound perfect. You feel a strong pull to pray or reflect for no obvious reason. These are not coincidences. These are spiritual signals. But most people brush them off because modern culture teaches people to trust logic only. But human beings are not only logical creatures. You are spiritual beings living inside physical bodies. Your brain processes information, but your spirit perceives truth. And when both begin to work together, your awareness expands dramatically. Section 4. The awakening begins in silence. If you truly want to activate your spiritual perception, it begins with something very simple. Silence. Real silence. Tonight, turn everything off. No music, no phone,
No television, no distractions. Sit alone and listen. At first, your mind will race, random thoughts, memories, worries. But if you stay still long enough, something deeper begins to emerge, a quiet awareness, a deeper clarity. Your thoughts begin slowing down, your senses become sharper, your spirit begins coming back online. Most people avoid silence because it forces them to face themselves. But silence is the doorway to spiritual perception. Section 5. The Mirror Exercise. Tonight, I want you to try something powerful. Stand in front of a mirror, look directly into your own eyes, and ask yourself one question. Who am I really becoming? Not the image people see, not the personality you perform online, the real you. Your spirit will begin answering. Truth will surface. Hidden emotions will rise. Convictions will appear. This is not your imagination. This is your spirit speaking. Most people avoid this moment because the truth inside them has been waiting to be heard. Section 6. The Door of Discernment. When your spiritual perception begins awakening again, something interesting happens. You start noticing things others miss. You sense when someone's energy is genuine. You feel when something is spiritually wrong. You detect manipulation faster.
You recognize truth more clearly. It is like someone turned on a light inside your mind. But here is the important part. This power is not meant for pride. It is meant for protection and wisdom. The purpose of spiritual discernment is to help you navigate a world full of deception. Section 7. Why this matters more than ever. Right now, humanity is living in one of the most mentally noisy times in history. People are overwhelmed with information, but starving for wisdom. Millions are spiritually disconnected from themselves. They follow trends, they repeat opinions, they move with crowds. But those who awaken their spiritual awareness begin seeing life differently. They pause before reacting. They sense deeper motives. They listen beyond words. And suddenly, they are no longer easily manipulated by the world. Final awakening message. Tonight is not about becoming supernatural. It is about becoming aware again. Aware of your spirit. Aware of truth. Aware of the quiet voice that has been guiding you since birth. You were not created to walk blindly through life. You were designed with inner perception, a spiritual compass, a deep awareness, but it only awakens when you slow down enough to listen. So tonight, sit in silence. Look into your own eyes. Ask yourself honest questions and allow the voice within you to speak again. Because the power you have been searching for outside has been quietly waiting inside you since the day you were born. Call to action. If this message awakened something inside you, type this in the comments. My spirit is waking up. And if you are ready to explore deeper spiritual awareness, subscribe to Salvation Psychic, because the next message may reveal something about your mind, your spirit, and the hidden awareness you never knew you had.